Hi, this is Barbara Fredkin from One Senior Place, and I want to thank you for coming tonight and joining us with our presentation, What's New in Viera. You know, One Senior Place is a one-stop shop for seniors in our community. You can come in for a free 30-minute consultation, talk about your needs. If you need private duty care, either temporary or long-term, if you need care management services, if you're looking for different living options, that's something that I can help you with. We have businesses here going from elder law attorneys, hearing aid specialists, national cremation, a guardianship, whatever you might need, we can help you here at One Senior Place. So our presentation tonight on What's New in Viera deals with the growth. We know Viera is growing by leaps and bounds, and according to Eva Ray, she says we have another 30 years of growth here. So I'm really anxious to hear everything she has to say. So let's join Eva now and hear what her presentation is with What's New in Viera.
So you have to be flexible with the amenities that you offer, the housing product, the retail offerings, things like that. So you want to be able to predict exactly what you're going to have there, which is included in our development order, but you also need to be flexible enough to change if needed. Here's some demographics. Currently, there are about 27,000 residents in Viera, but the population upon completion of the project will be a little over 70,000. There are currently a few more than 12,000 homes, but our development order allows for 31,000 residential units. We currently have 3.5 million square feet of commercial. At build out, will be about 7 million. We currently have about 10,000 jobs. We will have about 25,000. There are currently 725 businesses, and we'll have about 1,000 once we are at build out. These are the two most recent rankings for master plan communities in the United States. The 2019 ranking, Viera was ranked at 22nd in the country for growth in master plan communities. And the mid-year ranking for 2020, Viera ranked 13th. Now, not all master plan communities participate in this ranking, but we did have quite a good year despite COVID. And surprisingly, we actually had a very good year here in Viera as far as home sales. So we jumped in the rankings up to number 13 in the country. This is just a quick chart to show you who is moving to Florida and other places. So this chart basically shows the annual net adjusted gross income gain that Florida saw in 2019. So this is for 2019. So you can see Florida compared with other states, people are moving here. You know, that's not going to stop anytime soon. And, you know, developments like Viera, as well as others, play a very big role in providing the necessary housing and work and amenities and leisure time for these people. So Florida ranked top in the country for 2019 for net AGI gain. So we do have to consider that. I know there are quite a few people who don't want anybody else to move to Florida. They want us to stop growing now that we are where we are, but this does show you that they are coming. This is just a little bit of interesting information. What I really would like to show you are, so we have our median household size, which seems to be growing a little bit over time. So we are currently around 2.41, we're growing. Our median age is getting a little bit older, however. We are currently around 48.8, we are growing. Our median household income is doing really well when compared to Brevard County. Brevard County as a whole is around 51,000, just a little bit more than 51,000, but Viera is at 77.5, and that is projected to increase, as well as the average household income. So you can see our population growth rate here. In the last few years, it's been pretty high. We're getting close to 4%. There is a predicted dip in growth in the next few years. So we'll dip down a little bit, but we are expected to round out at about that same growth rate. Again, just a couple of interesting points to draw to your attention here is our education levels. When you look at Viera compared to the rest of Brevard County, we do have a relatively educated populace. We also have a higher home value than you see in the rest of Brevard County, as well as the household size. So we do pretty good in those areas. All right, this is an interesting chart that shows the 5, 10, and 15-minute drive time population. And where we are now is right around 2019 for our drive time population. And this is what companies like to look at. So I know we've heard a lot of different business names bantied about as far as who we would like to see here in Viera. And these are the types of statistics that they're really looking at. What is our drive time population? What is our daytime population? Who would have thought 15 minutes of Viera, our daytime population is over 105,000. But this is the type of data that companies who are looking to invest in an area look at. And this is the sweet spot right here, right around 100,000. That's when you really start getting the attention of some of these desirable businesses, and that's when they start actually looking at investing their time and their money into the area. This is pretty interesting. So we have some categories here of spending: apparel and services, groceries, eating out, healthcare, and travel. And you can see Viera overspends or outspends Brevard County in every single category by not a small amount. So this is a very vibrant economic community here. We do have a lot of people coming into the area for their shopping and their eating, as well as those residents who stay here. So this is some more information that, again, those industries like to look at as far as what we're spending here in Viera. So when you have a master plan, you don't want to just sit back and let things happen passively. You want to create those opportunities that attract economic growth and development. And one of those areas is called Barrows West. So this is Viera Boulevard, this is I-95, this is Stadium Parkway, this is Lake Andrews. So this is the new Diverging Diamond Interchange, and this is that area up at that intersection. So this is going to be our new multi-use area, largely commercial. It will have a very urban, modern design and theme to it. It'll be very accessible and visible from I-95, which would make it perfect for a corporate office relocation. We are also adding some waterfront dining to the lake here. There will also be a really nice linear park around this lake. There's going to be medical and professional offices, again, retail, dining, entertainment venues. There could be a hotel option here, multifamily housing or more apartments. So there's a lot of opportunity here. Once you have an ingress and an egress to an interstate, like right here, those are areas of high interest, and people like the accessibility and the visibility from that intersection. Now this is an artist rendering. This is definitely not set in stone, but this is just a look at, again, here's that big lake. And here's some dining options, some retail options, some office space options, you know, again, corporate offices. There'll be some, again, opportunities in here. Just north of Viera Boulevard, you can see this area will be developed as well. So this is Stadium Corners, this is Publix right here. So you're going to have another opportunity for some retail and office space in here. You also have some opportunity possibly for another hotel. This is a hot, you know, multi-use area where almost any use could be considered in these two areas. It is being called Barrows West because it is west of I-95, and Lake Andrew, this big lake here, was a borrow pit where dirt was borrowed to build the I-95 interchange back when it was a flyover. So that is where it got its name. This is the entry feature that is going to be at Lake Andrew. So this is heading south on Lake Andrew. And you can see the modern design and the modern architecture, kind of what we were going for here. You can see the modern buildings. This is a sort of an art swing installation that we're looking at doing around the linear path. So this linear path goes all the way around the lake. So that's going to be a nice little walking trail. Dining options, office, very walkable, very, again, modern, something a little bit different that we haven't seen in Viera before. This is the new Lake Andrew extension. So Viera Boulevard is up here. This is heading south to our new traffic circle. This is at Parada and Lake Andrew. Here's Parada Drive. This is actually set to open any day now. As soon as the county says it's okay to turn the lights from flashing to regular traffic signal, this will open up to the traffic circle. So you can go to the traffic circle and up this way and vice versa. This segment will not open for a little bit more, but it is pretty much finished, as you can see from the aerial. But the first segment will be this segment to open, and it could be any time now. It could be tomorrow. We're not sure when the county is going to give us the go ahead, but that's right on the horizon. And here you could just see it from a different viewpoint. So here is your traffic circle. This is Lake Andrew, and this is Parada Drive that continues across Stadium Parkway. So this is what it looks like at its completed stage. Again, this is an artist rendering, but this is what we are looking to do at the roundabout. So another feature of Barrows West is that we want it to be very Florida native. So you see a lot of that natural Florida vegetation. There's going to be some stone wall feature, some hardscape features in here, but mostly we want it to look Florida native. And you can see here from this bottom picture, the cars going around the circle to scale what that might look like. Next, we have the Viera Town Center. So you saw some of that in the original video. The Center Point Apartments are right here. This is the Home 2 Suites and the Fairfield Inn. This is the Pearl Apartments that are getting close to being done. This is Duran, the Development Center. So pretty much everything else that you see, especially these two larger lots, and this one, that's what's left and has not been decided on right now. So we still have a lot of growth yet in Viera Town Center. This is the dog park that you saw. This is a linear park that you saw. And this will also be a park. And this is going to be a real point of interest for a lot of people. We're looking to have a bandstand here so that we can have outdoor festivals, outdoor music, and then some kind of programming here. This could be a restaurant, this could be any number of things, but something that is compatible with what we're looking to do here in the new park. There will be office space also in Town Center. There'll be some restaurants and retail. There could be even a post-secondary education development in there. So really, again, it's multi-use. It can be any number of things. Nothing has been decided for these two large parcels as of yet, but we still have a lot of growth left in Viera Town Center. On the video, on the drone, you saw all of this roadway network being worked on, so it's close to being done. But that is the Viera Town Center. This is just another picture. Again, here's our park. We have a nice oval lawn here. We have a nice linear park here that will lead to the other park. again, outdoor festivals, food truck festivals, art festivals. You can have entertainment here. This is our very first artificial turf dog park with a side for small dogs and large dogs. There's a pavilion with bathrooms and a children's playground. So it's a really neat park to visit, and you can go visit it today. This whole section is completed, and you can actually go to the park today. This is again the Center Point Apartments, Home 2 Suites and Fairfield Inn, and this picture is a little bit older. Again, this is a pre-COVID picture, but they've got a lot done with the apartments over there. All right, here is our Addison Village Center. So this is behind the hospital. This is Lauren Cove right over here. And this is going to be some retail and some other multi-use functions. We are hoping to have like a grocery option down here, as well as some other restaurants and retail around it. So this is the Addison Village Center. This is the retail center and the commercial center for Addison Village. This is what Pineta is starting to look like. So here's Bridgewater. If hopefully everybody has been down here recently to see what is going on, but currently Lake Andrew Drive and the Pineta Interchange, this segment here, is under construction. So this interchange and the roadway, that L shape, will be finished in the spring of 2021. So we're really only a few months away. What you see in blue here, all this blue, this is all the Village 2 residential. So Addison Village is Village 1. Village 2 is what you see here, and the blue is residential. The green is part of that Viera Wilderness Park, that conservation area. There's some here and some here. And then this is the first, the future commercial, all of this orange. So this is Pineta. There is actually a bridge, or excuse me, a tunnel that goes under Pineta for golf carts right now. It's actually laid and ready to go. But you can see how Viera extends another couple of miles south of Pineta. So again, this is future commercial development, which could be, there actually will be a park, a very large regional park down here. But you can also have hotels and retail, grocery, gas, offices, really any kind, again, in a multi-use situation, you can have any kind of potential uses. But I have a feeling based on, what I've seen with the Viera, is that area is really going to explode. People are really interested in the Pineta connection right now. Now, whether it's to get over to the beaches or whether it's to get over to work, a lot of people are really looking forward to that ingress and egress, which will be the 4th ingress and egress in and out of Viera when it opens, which is kind of unusual. I mean, you really don't even see that many interchanges in any other part of Brevard County. So there's a lot of potential here, a lot of potential uses, a lot of potential development. And I know people are very, very excited to see what is coming down in that area. So roadways, just because the county owns a roadway doesn't mean that they paid for it or built it. So Viera Company actually built all of the roadways in Viera, neighborhoods, and the collector and arterial roadways. And we've spent, actually this number is a little stale. It's actually over 200 million at this point with our new roadway segments that are just getting ready to open. So that includes a lot of roadway infrastructure. Let's look at a couple of those projects. The first one is the Lake Andrew extension. So that's what we were looking at a little bit earlier in Barrows West. Here's our new roundabout. This picture is a little bit older, but I thought you might like to see kind of what it looks like as it's getting going. So this is the new roundabout that's heading north. This is the big lake, and this is heading down toward the high school, down behind the high school. So that's that will go that direction south, and you can kind of see off in the distance the avenue and development over that way. We also have Lake Andrew on the south side. So this is the Pineta Interchange. This picture here on top, you can see this is Pineta. See, this is where the interstate currently, or the interchange currently ends, where it dead ends. And this is I-95 in the background. And so this is the Pineta Causeway. And this is Lake Andrew. So this is that intersection there. And then if you look at from this direction, this is actually looking north up toward Bridgewater. So this is Lake Andrew, this way. And this is Pineta here. So you can see, again, we're not far away from this interstate interchange to be open. It'll provide, again, that very visible and regional connectivity to Viera. You'll help relieve traffic on several of the roadways, such as the Wickham Interchange. And quite frankly, since there's going to be so much development in the southern part of Viera, this really is our new southern gateway to Viera. This is a future roadway that I think a lot of people are interested in. It's the Spyglass Flyover. It will connect Spyglass Hill Road to Napolo Drive on the other side. This will not be an interchange. It will be a flyover. Now, this is still a few years away. This particular project has not been activated. It takes a certain point in development for us to activate that project. So we're not there yet, but it will give us an east-west over the interstate, connecting the east side of Viera and the west side of Viera without making it an interstate interchange. I promised I would talk a little bit about the Viera Wilderness Park, because this is something we're pretty proud of. I don't think there's too many developments that you can name that actually set aside so much land and put so much effort into conservation than the Viera Company and the Duda family. So this green area you see here is that Viera Wilderness Park. The red that you see is Viera's boundary, so it comes right up to Viera's boundary. There will never be any residential or commercial development within that area. There is a habitat management plan that we have to follow, and it is very detailed. We have environmental specialists who actually come out and count the caracara and count that's the caracara you see here. It's a picture of a caracara. That's a federally protected bird. And count the burrowing owls that you see here and the bald eagles. We even have an environmental professional who counts the trees. And so we have to have a certain tree canopy in Viera and in the Viera Wilderness Park. So it's a very important part of Viera and our conservation efforts. It also buffers the adjacent River Lakes Conservation Area. So it provides a buffered edge between Viera development and these very sensitive conservation lands over here. It also provides room for the St. Johns River when it overflows its banks, and that all becomes floodplain all in here. It provides a little bit of extra space for the St. Johns River should we have a very serious rain event, something like Hurricane Irma. The St. Johns River overflooded its banks by quite a bit, and the Viera Wilderness Park was able to add a little bit of extra buffer, again, between development and those floodplains. And of course, floodwater retention, because that stayed flooded for quite some time after Irma. But it does provide for a lot of conservation efforts that you don't see in a lot of places. Now, we call it the Viera Wilderness Park, but it's not a park like you wouldn't, take a picnic and go and sit and enjoy your picnic. We call it a park because it is a wilderness conservation area. And so, again, that is really done specifically to protect the River Lakes Conservation Area and all these important conservation lands. Well, that's really about it, but let me get through some of these questions here. Let's see. Linda O'Brien, what guarantee that the preserve areas will not be developed? Well, that's just what they are. The Viera Wilderness Park, it's within the development order and the habitat management plan. So that is, that's set in stone. Will the field south of Capron Ridge be developed? Capron Ridge is not, I think you mean Capron Trace. No, Capron Ridge, that is not Viera. Capron Ridge is not Viera, so I couldn't speak to that. A couple of suggestions about doctors, organic food store like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. How about some homes with some space between them? That's actually, let me show you a picture. So obviously, you have to look at density when you are developing in a community, and your density is pretty much set forward in the development order. But we do have two areas that we call our rural interchange district. One is here and one is down here. And that is low density. That is low density housing. It could be a little ranchette or a horse farm, something along those lines. But generally speaking, you're gonna find the density that currently exists in Viera in order to achieve the goals of our master plan. Kathy J, sounds like a traffic nightmare. I don't think so. None of our roads are at capacity right now. And again, we do traffic count studies every year, all the time. And we are nowhere near capacity, and there are more roads coming. Let's see, please, no more chain restaurants. Believe it or not, a lot of people like chain restaurants. It's one of the biggest requests that we get. But it's not up to us. If you have some local restaurateurs who want to open a local business, they certainly are more than welcome to. But generally, your chain restaurants are going to have the capital to have a brick and mortar. So that's probably why you see that. Need another drugstore. Let's get to more questions. Okay, question. All right, please consider. Walking trail, great. We love circles, that's cute. Is there a plan for a golf cart path from east to west on Vera Boulevard like you mentioned for Pineta? Not as of today. So when DOT provided their opinion on Vera Boulevard, they said absolutely no golf carts. They do not want golf carts going over I-95. So when we get to Spyglass Flyover, that will be a question for DOT. That's not anything that we can design. We will have to design it based on what their criteria are. And their criteria for Vera Boulevard was no golf carts. So that is yet to be determined. Oh, somebody asked about the C word. That is not something I can talk about. There has been a lot of rumors and information published in the local newspaper regarding Costco. I would have to refer you there. Why do you expect a dip in growth in a few years? That is simply the economic forecast for this area. You know, if you go and you talk to pretty much any economic forecaster, the entire area will see a slight dip. We've had quite a few years of really great success and really high numbers, and pretty much every indicator that we've seen is there will not be a bubble like last time, but a slight dip, just a cooling off of the economy a little bit. So that's why we see a dip in those numbers. Okay. Thank you, Kim. Yes, golf carts over a state road would require a change in Florida law. Again, DOT says absolutely not. So that is their call. There is a section labeled 3 to the west of the developed area. Is that going to be residential? That's going to be Village 3. So just like Addison Village is Village 1, and then Village 2 is this darker peachy color here. This is Village 3. So it'll be both. It'll be residential with some sort of commercial core. Now, we haven't decided where that's going to be, so it's just a square box right now. But this is Pineta that does this. So Pineta is going to come up through here. It already comes up to here. And then it will snake through Village 3 and connect to Viera Boulevard. So it'll turn into Viera Boulevard. So this is the only development west of Powerline Road, which is this line here. But, so it will be both to answer that question. It's our third and final village. Traffic is becoming a nightmare by the avenue with all the construction of the apartments. It's starting to be like Fort Lauderdale. Also, can we get copies of these charts or see them online? Marilyn, you need to send me an email. I can put my email address in the chat box, and you can email me for something that caught your attention that you'd like to see. How will reclaimed water be allocated? So the county controls the reclaimed water system here. That would be a question for them. I know they have just recently expanded their reclaimed water plant, which is right here. This is where Viera's reclaimed water comes from. And they control the quantity, the timing, all that kind of good stuff. So we are at their mercy. What's the difference between VWP1 and VWP2? Uh-oh, somebody's sharing their screen again. Let me get back to me. All right, so this is just the phases. So this is phase 1 of the Viera Wilderness Park, phase 2 of Viera Wilderness Park, and that'll be phase 3. So it's not anything that means anything about development. It's just when we bring that online and into the conservation easement. Can you address the CRCC question above? I didn't see a question, I saw a statement. Let me see here. So just like what's going on with the Sonata, with the senior apartments, there is also another ALF we are looking at adding to the community. Yes, so we have those within our development order, you know, how many ALF beds, how many hospital beds, that sort of thing. That's already predetermined. I'm not sure to the extent that you're asking the question, but there are still some additional ALF and skilled nursing beds to be added to the development. Schools is up to the school board, not us. However, we have committed to the schools to providing whatever land that they need for that. For instance, the new Viera Elementary School, we donated the land for that school, and however many more schools the school board feels they need, we will donate land to that. But that is up to them to actually build them and determining when they need them. Please address the traffic situation. Can you be more specific? Again, none of our roads are currently at capacity, so there is no traffic situation. Apartments have been in the master plan since day one, since 30 years ago. Those are all figured into our transportation concurrency and all of our planning. So Viera really doesn't have bad traffic. We have pretty good traffic. And again, no road in any of our studies is at capacity for traffic. Wickham Road got close to it before we opened the Viera Boulevard interchange. But now that we have Pineta opening next year, it won't even come close to being at capacity either. So I know while it may feel relatively like there's more cars on the road because there are more people and there are more cars, the roadway infrastructure itself is not at capacity. Okay, let's go to, is Chick-fil-A moving to Viera Boulevard? Yes, I can confirm that. Yes, that will be a Chick-fil-A at that corner. And hopefully that'll relieve some of the traffic we have at Wickham Road. All right, let's go to in person at One Senior Place. Do I have any questions from there?
Hi. First of all, please thank you for this. I know you and so everything, but it's Viera. But I'd like to know what they were doing for cultural expansion. Any playhouses, anything. I see the bandstand, but I don't see anything else cultural.
I didn't really hear, I heard future expansion and then I didn't hear anything else. Can somebody repeat the question closer to the microphone?
Yes. I'm interested in what we have planned for culture. I see a bandstand. I don't see any playhouses, museums, things like this.
And there really isn't anything planned that way. We plan amenities, not necessarily, for instance, if you had a museum or if you had a playhouse or anybody who wanted to build that sort of use in Viera, they could do that. There are entitlements for that, and there's obviously land for that. We don't do that piece of it. We build the amenities. So the parks, the trails, pretty much anything related to walking trails and getting out and getting active, anything that has to do with infrastructure. That's not to say that somebody could not come in and build a playhouse. We certainly could do that. Our multi-use design would allow for that. But that's not anything we would build. Somebody would have to come in and invest the time to do that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
Hi, Eva. Thank you for doing this. This is Audrey from On Senior Place.
You're welcome.
Would they ever put a hotel near a subdivision?
So it depends on what your definition of near is, because if you look to where Barrows West that I showed you the rendering for, there's possible that is all commercial property just north of Viera Boulevard. So it is possible there could be a hotel in that area, and that is adjacent to Sonoma, but there may not be. It just depends. That's to be determined. You also will have hotels next to multifamily housing. That's pretty common. You do that. We have that at Viera Town Center. So while there won't be a hotel right in the middle of a village, there will be hotels at the commercial centers like Barrows West and Pineta Interchange. And there could possibly be housing close to that, but we still have to stay within our, the uses allowed for that property.
Yes, I was thinking mainly Viera Boulevard and Stadium.
Yes, there very well could be a hotel there.
Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering what happened to the large flag and flagpole by the high school. Hasn't been there for, let's see, about a year.
So that is actually a cell tower. It was decorated with a flag, that is true, but it sustained a lot of damage during Irma, and it was determined that a flag really cannot go back there now because of all the residential development underneath where it is. The flag places a lot of pressure on the structure itself. When it comes to the panels, we actually had panels flying off in the wind. And if there were homes under it at that time, that would have been obviously a huge safety issue. So in looking at the safety for people and the safety for housing, a flag cannot return to that location, but it will remain as a cell tower.
Do you know what the average elevation is of most of the property in Viera? What is the average elevation above sea level?
So not in inches. So we determine elevation by rain events. So your common areas, your streets, your roadways, your parks, your common elements, those are all built to a 25-year rain event elevation, which is 9 inches. The homes are all built to a 100-year rain event level, and that is 11 inches. So basically 11 inches of rain is a 100-year rain event, and the homes were built to withstand that. I will tell you, however, during Irma, when we got 22 inches of rain, we did not have any homes flood, and the stormwater system seemed to work pretty well during Irma and was able to convey that water. So we look at rain level events when we're determining the elevation, but 9 inches for common areas and roadways and 11 for home sites.
Any other questions?
I think maybe there were a couple more questions that were
Okay.
added on the chat. I thought I saw a couple.
All right. Let's see. Got another Chick-fil-A question. I think we answered that one. Do you have any word regarding larger fitness facilities, YMCA, LA Fitness, etc.? So there was a planned YMCA here in Viera, but unfortunately they lost their funding. I don't know if they are still fundraising for that or not, but they were looking at Viera for a location, but I have a feeling that that is probably not going to come to fruition. LA Fitness, it would be like any other business who wants to come into Viera, whether you're a restaurant, whether you're LA Fitness, whether you're Gold's Gym, it doesn't matter. We would look at that on a case-by-case basis, and they would have to find the appropriate property or the appropriate location. So there's nothing to say that they couldn't, but they would have to want to. And I think that's where there's a disconnect in the understanding of Viera and how that works. We put out information to commercial interests, people who might be interested in coming to Viera, relocating their business to Viera, or setting up shop in Viera. But most of these businesses have very, very specific demographics, and they do a lot of R&D. And in this day and age, investing in brick and mortar is a big investment for them. So we have to meet all of their criteria. We're just now starting to get to that point. You saw the chart where 2019, we almost hit that 100,000 population during the day within a 15-minute drive time mark. Now that we're starting to see those increases, and now we're starting to see that population, we might be able to attract something like an LA Fitness, but ultimately it's in their hands. So I tell people, if there's something specific that you want to see, reach out to them and say, hey, we think Viera would be a great place for you to be. Because we're one voice. We can pick up the phone and we can say, hey, we would love to have you here, but we're one phone call. There's the population of Viera is 27,000. There's a big difference between one phone call and 27,000 phone calls. So if there's something you really, really want, I strongly encourage you to contact that corporation and put a bug in their ear about us. All we can do is send them the information and talk to them. We can't make them come here. Let's see, any plans for townhouses in the future? Well, we just did stadium villas. So it's possible. I mean, we look at different product types. We look at what the market is looking at and what's selling on the market. So it is possible, but nothing that is currently in the planning process. Thank you so much. When phase 2 residential construction will begin? Fairly soon. We just got the site plan for Village 2 approved by the county not too long ago. And we are in the planning process for a couple of the neighborhoods in Village 2. So I think you could very easily see us start to do some site work maybe by the end of next year. But we're still in the platting, permitting, planning process for Village 2. We still have a lot of Village 1 left to go. We still have neighborhoods we have not broken ground on in Village 1. So Village 2 is still a couple of years away. All right, that's all the questions I see. Are we any more in person? Any more in the room?
I think we're okay. Thank you so much, Eva. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you post your email address, please?
Oh, sure, let me post it.
And then to let you know, we had 73 people on Zoom tonight. So that is like my biggest Brady Bunch screen ever. Of course, I couldn't see everybody, but just want to thank everyone for coming tonight. On October 14th, we're going to be having on Zoom and in person for the amendments that are going to be on the ballot for the election this year. Some League of Women Voters is going to come and help me explain all the amendments. So if you're interested in joining us, please call One Senior Place and get on our list for that. Other than that, we have lots going on. We're going to watch Viera grow. Hopefully, I see it to the end, Eva. I mean, I don't know. I might be pretty old, but, build me a really, really nice nursing home to go to.
Sounds good.
And, but thank you. If you have questions, let me know and I'll get them to Eva. But thank you so much, Eva. For
Thank you.
everything.
Thanks for having me.